But there are more serious considerations involved and worse things to report. Man is at bottom a dreadful wild animal. We know this wild animal only in the tame state called civilization, and we are therefore shocked by occasional outbreaks of its true nature. But if and when the bolts and bars of the legal order once fall apart and anarchy supervenes, it reveals itself for what it is. For enlightenment on this matter, though, you have no need to wait until that happens. There exist hundreds of reports, recent and less recent, which will suffice to convince you that man is in no way inferior to the tiger or the hyena in pitilessness and cruelty. A weighty contemporary example is provided by the reply received by the British Anti-Slavery Society from the American Anti-Slavery Society in answer to its inquiries about the treatment of slaves in the slave-owning states of the North American Union, slavery and the internal slave trade in the United States of North America. This book constitutes one of the heaviest of all indictments against mankind. No one can read it without horror, and few will not be reduced to tears. For whatever the reader of it may have heard or imagined or dreamed of the unhappy condition of the slaves, indeed of human harshness and cruelty in general, will fade into insignificance when he reads how these devils in human form, these bigoted church-going Sabbath-keeping scoundrels, especially the Anglican parsons among them, treat their innocent black brothers whom force and injustice have delivered into their devilish clutches. This book, which consists of dry but authentic and documented reports, rouses one's human feelings to such a degree of indignation that one could preach a crusade for the subjugation and punishment of the slave-owning states of North America. They are a blot on mankind. But we do not need to go to the New World for examples. In the year 1848, it came to light that in England a husband or wife, or both in collusion, had not once but 100 times poisoned their children one after the other, or tortured them to death with hunger and neglect, merely for the insurance money from burial clubs. Children were insured with several, in some cases as many as 20 such clubs. See the Times, 20th, 22nd and 23rd of September 1848. Reports of this sort belong, it is true, to the blackest pages of mankind's criminal record. But the source of them, and of everything like them, is the inner and inborn nature of man, in which the first and foremost quality is a colossal egoism, ready and eager to overstep the bounds of justice. Does the admitted necessity for a so anxiously guarded European balance of power not already contain a confession that man is a beast of prey, which will pounce upon a weaker neighbour as soon as he notices his existence? And is this fact not confirmed every day in ordinary life? Gobineau des races humanes called man l'animal marchand par excellence, which people took very ill because they felt it was aimed at them. But Gobineau was right, for man is the only animal which causes pain to others with no other object than causing pain. The other animals do it in the cause of appeasing their hunger or in the rage of battle. No animal ever torments another for the sake of tormenting, but man does so, and it is this which constitutes the diabolical nature, which is far worse than the merely bestial. The worst trait in human nature, however, is schadenfreude, which is an untranslatable word meaning pleasure in another's discomfiture. Since it is closely related to cruelty, indeed it differs from this only as theory it differs from practice, but generally arises under circumstances in which pity ought to arise, which, as its antithesis, is the true source of all genuine justice and love of mankind. The antithesis of pity, in another sense, is envy, inasmuch as it is excited by an antithetical cause. That it is the antithesis of pity derives first and foremost from what causes it, and only as a consequence of this cause does it become the feeling of envy itself. Thus envy, although reprehensible, admits of some excuse and is humanly understandable, while Schadenfreude is diabolical, and its derision is the laughter of hell. Now, if, having taken stock of human wickedness, as we have just done, you feel a sense of horror at it, you should straightway turn your eyes to the misery of human existence. And if you are shocked at its misery, you should turn your eyes to its wickedness. Then you will see that they balance one another. You will become aware of the existence of an internal justice, that the world itself is its own universal last judgment, and you will begin to understand why everything that lives must atone for its existence, first by living and then by dying.